All right, all right. What is up, folks? How are you today? I hope you're doing well. I just got these glasses from inside and they're steaming up. But yeah, so welcome to Maverick Workshop. I'm John. I'm going to be doing some diamond painting pin turning today, so we're going to be finishing up the rest of the Monarch butterfly that I've kind of, for some reason, I've been feeling like I've been dragging my feet, but I had like some of these done earlier, but then, you know, I introduced another colorway as well. So that's why you can see the Mystique blanks as well. So I'll be finishing the Monarchs, moving to the Mystiques, and I don't have many left. I got 3, 6, 9 to go or so before moving on. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be working on that, and then the other stuff, and then bada bing, bada boom. And then we'll see where we are, and then maybe I don't know. But this morning I did start on something a little different as far as projects. I had a little project that I did with my kids. So I saw a different turner do, let's see, it was a bowl turner like Jack Mack or somebody, and they were using paper, and then they were putting resin on the paper and just basically stacking it, right? So you have the sheets, you stack them in stacks, but you have to color each one of them individually. So that was pretty darn cool. So I was thinking, have the kids make a fun little project that's going to be on a bolt action X-Acto blade. And what we did is we had like 5 or 6 colors of veneer, and basically we cut it into 1-inch strips by about 12 inches long, and we glued them all together. And so that's drying right now. The next step will be to bring them over to the bandsaw and cut them into about 1-inch pieces, and then stack them. I may end up drilling first, but I don't know. We'll have to see what it looks like once I spray all the glue off the edges and everything. But yeah, that was what I started on this morning, and it was a fun little project. So I was thinking, like, from a parent point of view, that's a fun little project that we had to work together and crank it out quickly, so we can make sure that the glue didn't set before we had everything stacked. So that's good. That's good. Hey, Mike, what's up? First time here? Welcome, welcome. I'm John. My other person here at Maverick Workshop is Abby. She's my wife, also the blank maker and the sanding and polishing extraordinaire. So yeah, we got a pretty good group here, Mike, and we're always looking for some new enthusiasts, whether that's pin making, turning, fountain pins, well, anything fountain pin related, really. If you're into like nibs or whatever, eventually I'll get into that, but I haven't quite gotten to that point yet. Yep. But working on diamond painting pins at the moment, and these blanks are called Monarch butterfly. That's about it. Yeah. So I had a pretty fun start to the morning. That little veneer thing is something I was thinking about for a while. So pretty cool. I was thinking too. Does anybody know what Jingga blocks are made out of? Any idea what the Jingga blocks are made out of? Is that pine? It might be pine. So that probably wouldn't be that good. But I also have a big box, a big size Jingga, and I think That one might be oak. I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking about how much is a Jingga set because on the larger boxes, I don't remember how expensive it was, but the fact that it has tons of blocks that are about 3 to 3.5 inches, well, you could put that on a pin kit, right? You could put that on a pin kit. I think pine as well. Let's see, another great maker channel, right on. In the same shape as me? Oh man. Mike, are we talking physique? When it comes to shape? Or are you talking about what I'm turning and you just ribbing yourself? Oh man. And from the games website says Beecher Alder. Yeah, so it does on the box. I remember the box saying various species of hardwood or something to that effect, where it is different types of hardwood. So, dude, I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, that is tons of blanks if that's what you're into. Or shoot, if you were into stabilizing, just grab a Jingga block thing and throw the whole damn thing into the stabilizing vacuum chamber and then let that bad boy do its thing. One of the reasons I got the smaller Jingga though was so I could not ship, but I blew up the pieces. Is so I could spread them apart, and then I was gonna make a modified, like kind of like a bowl. You know how people have the pieces overlapping for the bowl, but they do it in circles. I was wondering if I could do it with like these square strips. That's a chicky spot right there, man. I had to get it real skinny. That's not cool. Let's see, same shape as me. Meaning we were both starting skirting on the edge of 1,000. Yeah, I apparently, because I got the watch time candle burning on both ends, I'm gaining more watch time, but it's also dropping off on the back end of the 365 days. But you know, my watch time is increasing progressively, so I just have to weather that falling off at the end thing. And yes, you were absolutely right. Michael, board is off. You are so right, sir. Thank you for noticing that. Telling me. And then, believe it or not, my watch time has gone back up of what I need to, like, I think 75. But for what it's worth, yesterday I think I got about 72. So pretty darn cool. So thank you all so very much for that. We are cranking. 972. How exciting. How exciting. Y'all excited? Let's see. Fun fact about, fun fact about Veneer, you can make fingerboards with it. They have a few pressure modes. You know, I have seen people make the fingerboards. Have you seen the, there's one that's like a wind surfboard. So basically, it's kind of like a tech deck, except it has a leash, similarly to a surfboard. And so the leash goes onto your hand, and the surfboard will go onto your fingertips, and then you just stick it out of the window, and then you get some pressure from the air when you're going down the road, and then you're just kind of doing tricks like that. I was like, that is so cool. Let's see. You're at 959. Heck yeah. You're sick of not being at 1K. I don't mind. I'm patient, man. I'll be here. Either way. I'll be here. I'm a pretty patient. You know, you just gotta hold what you got. Hold steady. Don't change everything up like crazy and all that jazz. I mean, obviously, I'm not like wildly successful with YouTube, but just saying, I've done an extensive amount of research and read about all the different YouTube by Daryl Eves. It's called a book called The YouTube Formula, and that particular person actually is someone that Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, consults with to find different strategies for YouTube. I wouldn't say that I am in the strategy area of YouTube, but that doesn't mean I don't know strategies for it. Because I am just a turner. I am just a simple pen maker that likes to ramble on the internet. But I also like to teach, so if you like learning, I also explain what I do as I'm doing it sometimes, kind of depending on how the mood is and if there's people engaging in all that jazz. So yeah, if I'm by myself, I'll just literally start saying what I'm doing. It might not be the coolest thing, but you know what? It does talk about what it is that I'm doing, and kind of explains what it is that you're looking at if you didn't know. Let's see. Try to get you. Oh man, sorry. You get monetized at 1,000, sort of. You have to hit two criteria: 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subs. So it's a combination of both of those, and yeah. Let me catch up. We need to watch more. Well, I mean, yeah, if I'm here, for sure. Let's see. Different. You try to get me at 1K this weekend. Don't worry about that. You know how we do it here. I am only really interested in the viewers that are interested in watching and hanging out, and then, you know, kind of passively learning about what it is that I do, and that maybe if you're a turner or something, or craftsman of sorts, then you could probably use some of the ideas or whatever, and then, you know, kind of rearrange the sequence or something like that, and then apply it to something completely different. So, for example, if I was making a pen that had, you know, different types of wood, right? You take that different types of wood, then you can put it on like a slingshot handle, or you could use it as knife scales or stuff like that, which would be pretty darn cool. There's a big variety of things to do, and there's certainly no shortage of people desiring tasteful, ergonomic handles. Yes, Michael, bring his link to Shooting the Pop. I hadn't heard of that person yet, Mike. I could vouch he's a good teacher. Thanks, buddy. This is a good bunch of makers. Yeah. You do stuff. You do wood stuff too. Saying it like a little kid. Tom, that's all right. Everybody's got to have something that they start with, or a place to begin. And you know, when you start watching other people, you're seeing them like pretty deep into their journey. So it's one of those things where, you know, people that are doing it have been doing it for quite a while. But yeah, you shouldn't worry about that. No, go away. My bad. What? Alright, I got a call, and then YouTube decided to update on my iPad, so I will finish catching up on the comments momentarily. But yeah, pretty stinking cool, man. Like, that should be a little clip about the Jingga blocks, you know? Because guaranteed people can make pin blanks out of that, and if somebody was like, man, I just really want to practice with something, that would be so cheap. It would be pretty inexpensive for blanks, which would be wild, man. So I might have to try that here in a little bit. But yeah, I think the cheaper ones are made out of pine, and then Mike looked it up and said the other ones were made out of, did you say beech and alder? Let's see, what's step 2, right on. Shooting the stuff is Mike making stuff live stream. Alright, alright. Hey, how are you doing from Brazil? That's cool. That is so cool. I'd love to go to it at some point. Let's see. Willie! How you doing, Willie? You could dye them and all sorts of stuff, ideas? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Throw them in a pressure pot, and then you have like dyed and or not pressure pot, a vacuum chamber with some cactus juice. So you'd have like dyed and stabilized, already cut dimensions. Oh man. Y'all writing this stuff down, right? Because that's like that's a banger right there. People would not expect that. Boom. Name. You're in timeout. Name. What's your deal? You get timeout. Let's see. You dye them. Howdy, Whack and Shack. What's up? There is. Yep. Who's Whack and Shack? Is it Turner mentioned the other day? Awesome bloke and mental maker. What's a mental maker? Is it like a psychologist, psychiatrist, or is that a typo? But yeah, we hopping today. That's fun. How fun. Does all kinds of crazy stuff on a lathe with wood. Right on. Well, that sounds cool. Let's see. Took the picture of the channel to check it out. Yes. I don't usually look at my pictures until the weekend. I have like a day that I will go and review all the different things that I thought of throughout the week. And then other people have mentioned, so I'll go look at some of those things as well. But yes, thank you for mentioning that person. I do still have to go back and take a look. Pin kit just arrived. How exciting. What kind of pin kit is it?
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 1
And what are you going to put on it? Both of those things. Oh, you know, since I probably have at least some turners in here, can we talk a little bit about wood on shaving kits? Do y'all have any thoughts of wood on shaving kits? Let's talk about that for a moment, please. Should wood be on shaving kits? Is the question. And then, if yes, why? If not, or if no, why? I'd like to know thoughts on that. And let's just assume, for the sake of argument, stabilized wood can be included, but I'm actually talking more about natural wood. Natural wood. So I guess that's important to clarify as well. As in making the shaving brush and razor with the wood handles, I think is a great idea considering getting into some of those. Nice. Now why do you think it's a good idea to use wood on a shaving handle? And this kind of goes to what I was talking about before when you're thinking about the end user of whatever it is that you're making or working on. You should be thinking about the end user. Where do people shave? People shave in the bathroom. Women usually shave in a shower. So you're going to kind of use some of this information to determine if that's really what you want to put on it. So if you think about wood being on something that's going to get wet, that wood is going to need to either be sealed somehow, like fully sealed, like even where the component threads into or recedes into the wood itself, like all that needs to be sealed so the wood won't soak up that water. So I guess I was trying to kind of point out that some use cases for different things are probably ill-advised. Either that or just not completely thought about, which both I think are the case for things in general. Now, the reason I think that is because it's kind of like a planned obsolescence. You know that if you made a shaver out of wood and that handle keeps getting wet and then dry and then wet and then dry, what happens to the wood? It starts soaking in water. It would probably start to build some mold on the inside of the wood if it is exposed. If you've seen spalted wood, that's a fungus that grows throughout the wood. So if you think about it in such a way like that, is wood still a good idea to put on a shaving kit? New sponsor, BM Wood Turning. Wood Turning. You got a new sponsor, Whack and Shack? I haven't heard of BM Wood Turning. Heard of BW, I think. Isn't that Ben? Making the shaving brush and razors with the wood. Yeah, makes them bespoke and potentially more sellable. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I do still think that you would sell them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best material or the ideal material for that particular project. Now, some things obviously could just be for display. Some things could be for temp use, temporary uses, or let's see. You'd be looking at oak or mahogany or walnut. Yeah, that's all I'm really saying is if it's a wood that's going to get wet, you should consider that in the construction of what it is that you're going to do. Like, for example, I won't make a pen that is a hybrid without sleeving it. Because I don't want the ink of a fountain pen to leak into the cap, and then the cap would start, the unprotected wood part on the inside would start absorbing that moisture from the pen. And it probably won't be that bad, it's just, it'll be an inky mess inside the cap. And it won't like completely wring out because you can't just wipe it out, because you're going to get that, or you can't rinse it out of the wood. You don't want to get that like waterlogged soap. So just thinking about the end use is an important element of crafting anything. So that's my soapbox about that. Let's see, yeah, 100 here. Holy smokes, man, we got a great turnout today. How is everybody doing? I'm John, turning diamond painting pins, craft handles. If you were a turner and you want to learn all kinds of stuff about turning, or what it is that I do regarding turning, then, you know, it's a good place to be, I would say. I'm a little biased, obviously, but yeah, come hang out. I stream very often. I've been talking about a schedule for quite a while, but usually it just ends up being around noon or so that I will hop on stream, somewhere between probably around 10 and 2, you know, where you're supposed to hold the steering wheel, I guess. But yeah, I think a lot about a variety of things. Let's see. Yeah, wooden resin mix? Sure. You just need to make sure that you seal it, and then the resin side would be on the side that the shaving part is going into. That way, it wouldn't even have access to the wood, like the water, that is. The moisture or liquid, whatever. We don't want it to have access to the water, or the water to the wood. Either way. But yeah, if you did it to where it was a hybrid and the wood was on the base of the handle and base of the handle, and you still CA finished it, then you would be good to go. But stabilized, on the other hand, too, is you know, as long as it was stabilized correctly and it's not spongy anymore, so it had all the resin from the cactus juice or whatever you're using to stabilize. If it uses all of that and then it cures how it's supposed to, then you shouldn't really have an issue with that. But yeah, keep hitting me with some hypotheticals. I love them. Let's see. Never worked with or done stabilizing wood. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I haven't stabilized wood either, but I have worked with it. It's a little weird. It kind of ends up, you know, a little powdery like this as well, depending on the type of wood it was. And it's not necessarily the properties of the wood to be powdery like that. It's because it's been stabilized, and that's the resin coming out from between the fibers as you're turning it. Probably a little bit more in depth than you want, but that's what it's from. Let's see. You know what else? If you were just making one blank, what you could potentially do as well is get just a piece of wood and then wrap some packing tape around it and then fill it up. Well, break that piece of wood in half. That way it's got little spikies on it. And then have like a crown of tape that goes much higher. And then fill it with like, you can use a resin, you can use like a UV resin if you wanted. But yeah, that would be a pretty cool thing to do. I haven't tried that either. What does it take to be number one? I don't know, ask Kevin. That's how you get to be number one. But yeah, I've seen people do that sort of technique with little pendants, necklaces and stuff like that. And it's pretty clever. It's a way to use like minimal stuff. Or you could just buy a hybrid blank. Fly. I don't know why I got a dang fly in here, but it's driving me nuts. It's coming to hang out on my head. Go away. I'm working with some machinery here. Those kits are expensive. That's why you got to get into Bespoke, man. Then you make every component of it, then you don't have to worry about kits. And you can use it with a single star tap and die. You got to think about the different aspects of a pen and do it. So here's an interesting little thing. I'm not going to like spell it out necessarily what my numbers are, but when it comes to material cost, if you're making a bespoke fountain pen, the material cost for that is like $30 a pen if you're buying this stuff. So the Yovo number 6 nib is about 20 bucks, and then the blank is going to be anywhere between 10 to 20 bucks. So when you think about it like that, it's about 30 to 40 bucks per fountain pen that you make. So if you think about pen kits, and one pen kit is 30, how much are you going to end up selling that kit for? So I think the differences from pen kits and bespoke pens, you know, I thought about it from a point of view where, you know, we're making this stuff and making essentially the kits in this, you know, in a way we're making the kits, right? But we use mandrels, and so we had to buy different tools in order to accomplish that. But you can make all of those tools as well very easily, because if you can make a section back, if you can make a barrel, you can make a cap, you can make mandrels. So if you can do all those things, you can do the mandrels as well. But yeah, I was trying to think of something that would be kind of fun and schedule. Like scheduling a workshop where I am just making one pen from start to finish. But you know, I do that often, right? I take a pen and I make it, or I take a blank and I make it into a pen. but I don't like schedule it and announce it type of thing. So I think it would be beneficial, obviously, to alert people of what I intend on doing, and then maybe it'll, you know, have some people come in and hang out and do that. What do pins sell for in the US? It ranges from like 50 cents to hundreds of thousands. The most expensive commercial one I ever heard of, God bless it, get out of here, fly, was a Mont Blanc pin, but the reason it was so expensive was because it used all kinds of precious gems. It was like encrusted with all these precious gems and stuff. So that is where that cost went or came from. But yeah, this damn fly though. This is why I have a fly swatter. Y'all might witness something happening. It's not for the faint of heart, but this fly has got to go. Let's see. You're on about the shaving kits? Gotcha. Even still, the shaving kits, you pretty much have to buy a specific kind or specific one, or find one and then create a completely different handle. So if you wanted to use just like a simple like disposable razor and you wanted to make a handle for it, you could probably modify the handle of the actual shaver or the shaver handle so it would just go in, then they'd use it and then they would replace it, no problem. Let's see. He gets around 200 for his. Who gets 200? Me? I get 200? I don't get 200. I don't get anything. I get to continue making pins. That's my payment. Let's see. Yeah. You know, although this guy is a wizard with them, you struggle to get 40 to 50 per pin. Yeah, well, there are a lot of things to consider about that, and I can't really summarize. But ultimately, what it can really boil down to is a combination of exposure, marketing. Well, actually, we could just boil it down to even the 4 Ps. Product, price, place, promotion. 4 Ps. Product, price, place, promotion. So we're thinking about the product. We're all selling the same shit, right? We're all making pins. Place. Where are we selling it? You asked about where we are in the US selling it, and then the other element of it is you're probably in the UK or something like that, which is cool. But there's not as much of a demand. So there's a variety of ways that you could approach this, because what you want, you got to determine what it is that you want, right? Then you need to point yourself at whatever it is. And then you just need to keep walking towards that, or making progress towards that. Boom, there you go. Then you'll be successful. Make mistakes early and often. Learn from them. It's better to make mistakes early while there's fewer people seeing you and watching you. It's easier, it's better to learn that stuff when you don't have very many people. So if you have like, I don't know, like 5 people that like your pins or something like that, it doesn't matter the number. If like 5 people like them, and those are the people that buy, that is your target. Look at those people that have bought and take a look at their routines, stuff like that. if that's what your goal was to do. You just got to watch people, determine the patterns that people have, and then anticipate them. Or you can go try to be a trendsetter, where you go do your own thing, and then you just like keep pumping the same thing until it just works. You were going to force that square peg into that round hole because you're a damn craftsman. Anyway, that is another way. Another way that's arguably easier, but it will get you a great deal of exposure, and you should only really do that if you are ready to deliver to quite a few people, potentially, right? You don't necessarily have to, well, you won't necessarily guarantee success. However, you will most definitely attract more eyes, at least, to your work by sending your pen to someone that is in the realm of fountain pens and or collecting, because again, the target audience for fountain pen people are collectors, right? If you want a business that sells fountain pens, you're going to want people that are collecting fountain pens or pens in general as your target. So that's just another layer. Now, for another layer after that, you got to determine what type of things that those people like. Now, I know that some of you like to do antler, which is dope. That's awesome. But what that also means is that your crowd is going to be a little different than my crowd, because it's just a different type of product, different audience, different demographic type of thing, you know? So thinking about it like that is really the best way to do your business plan, and thinking about the end user, what they like, and then that's what you should start working towards, making it something to where it's almost a compromise. You're like, okay, I know these people want this, but let's identify some of the highlights of this specific thing. And then you move from there, and then you make it into something that you think is, a reflection of your work and skills and capabilities. And then that is just how it goes. And then you continue that. You just continue that because it makes you happy and you like doing it that way. And then you just keep talking about it. You keep posting, you keep doing all that stuff. And then eventually the algorithms, I know, I'm not talking YouTube algorithms, but the optimization algorithms that are on the internet, they will find the people for your stuff. Which is why so many people, they're like, oh, I worked with Etsy ads for like a day or a month or something. Well, to give you an idea of where we were when we first began, we were spending not a ridiculous amount of money on advertising, but we were advertising on Etsy. And we did that for, I don't know, probably a year or two, where we set a monthly amount, and then that's the amount that it was able to spend. And then if you're tracking it, it'll let you know like how much money was spent to do that. And Etsy will drive sales towards you if you're making something that people are in the market for. Let's see. We're building a lathe from a treadmill. Trash anything. Uh-oh. You got part of it done, but now you got to finish it somehow. Hey, Kaz. Hey, Kaz. Richard, fake. What's fake? Me? Yeah, I'm totally AI, dude. I'm not actually here. This is just my doppelganger. It's a robot. You turned your jigsaw into a miter saw. Oh man, Mike, are you one of those that will make a drill lathe? If so, I was talking about you. Or people that like to do that. It's not a matter of will it work, it's a matter of if it's a good idea. But, you know, if that's your whole thing of, I think that's funny, that's hilarious. And it does show a lot of ingenuity that you already have, and your problem solving skills is also probably pretty good too. You need to build the center and the crawler for your day job. What crawler? You run the crawler. What's a crawler? Build the center. Absolutely not. You're making yours from a 2.58 horsepower treadmill motor. Are you using different gears to make it so it'll rotate faster? And if so, how many gears are you going to need to put in there to scale it down, or scale it to where? Well, sorry. What is it that you were making again with the treadmill? Robot? Richard, are you a robot? No, I'm the robot. Just kidding. The web crawler. Uh-oh. Dang. Do I need to filter myself even more, Mike? I don't know. Or should I filter myself at all? I mean, I am going to, but... Alright. Whoops. Need to put some honeycombs in there. Oh, you have an electronic speed controller. Making a lathe with it. You are... That's my kind of guy right there. See, I was talking about making a lathe, and how, you know, for me that wouldn't be a good thing to do. It would be a waste of time in some ways. But if that's kind of the thing that you're doing, I don't think it would be a waste of time for you. Bum, bum, bum. This F what? I don't know. I don't know. The last statement? Or... Or what? But yeah, I just... That's the beauty of it. It's like there's all different avenues that you can get. Focus on the mailing things. Oh, okay. You make things accessible. Interesting. Are you an IT? Are you considered an IT guy? Whoops. like a IT guy that that like builds websites, or you like backdoor websites. That's kind of what that sounds like, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. I think it's cool either way. I'm always fascinated by stuff I don't know. And hopefully that'll last an entire lifetime. It just, there was a point in my life in like middle school or high school where you're like so sick of school, or I was so sick of school, and I was like, you know what? I wish we could just program ourselves to know everything. You know, this is a kid me, right? This is a kid version of me. And the Neuralink wasn't around at that time either. However, it does kind of seem like it's going that way, doesn't it? Yeah. It's kind of crazy, really. Your tools are all over. You can code, 3D print, teach people how to make tools, machines. Dang, man. You sound like a jack of all. That's awesome. Jack of all trades. You master of them all, or you just master of none? Jack of all, master of none? That's what I was in my previous career. I was a jack of all trades, master of none. Not like trades in the blue collar sense, like plumbing, HVAC, that type of stuff. Although I like those people. Those are awesome people. Fantastic. So I bet those people are doing well right now. But more so in the, I was a paramedic. I was in weapons and tactics and medical. I focused primarily on trauma medicine when I was in the military and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy that we'd go skydiving, stuff, all kinds of stuff, scuba diving. But yeah, skydiving, scuba diving, extrication. Extrication was probably overlooked by a lot of people when, well, people that I worked with initially when we were looking at rescue in general. But yeah, rescue is what I went into. But it was a dope. It was a dope time, man. Dope. Loved it. All the people. And the cool thing too is the people that you're working with, man, they are ride or die. Like, that's it. That's it. And that's always something that's really, really awesome to have been a part of, where you have a whole team of people that, you know, are always looking out for what's in the best interest of the team. And so, you know, being a part of that, it's incredible. And one of the things that I'd like to be able to do is try to, like, in some ways articulate that, but also be able to have a place where people can also, you know, have that sense of camaraderie. And, you know, we put the time in, and we've been through stuff together, and, you know, sounds like I'm looking for a life partner, but I suppose it could be in some cases. But, you know, I'm married already, so we'll have to keep it relatively superficial, you know. Let's see. No, that's not what I was getting at. I focused on rescue. Like, assault of any sort was a secondary mission for us. It was like stuff went bad. Unless we were with a different group of, unless we were with a different team, I'll say. I'll just leave it at that. Then the roles would be slightly different. You become what's called a technical rescue specialist, where you have to figure out and solve all kinds of problems in order to enable the mission to happen. And problem solving is kind of where, well, that kind of was in somewhat of the job description of what I did. Is we always had to figure things out. Like some things, like the medical, that's pretty much rote learning. But you know, there's a lot of stuff where somebody might have something that's going on, but also they have other things that are happening that you don't necessarily know about because you don't have an x-ray, you don't have anything because you're out in the field. So basically you're plugging holes and stopping the hoses. I guess that's the way to say. Let's see, handy school to have. Yeah. Call yourself a polymath. Polymath. You signed up. C1 31 Charlie 10, huh? And took the 4 transfer to pick up a meal. Backfired because you ended up stuck. Oh man. So are you still in the military, or did you get out, or did you not go all the way in, or what? Still trying to figure out if you were in. And MOS is what, military occupation. I don't know. MOS. Military operation. Something. Do I like long romantic walks on the beach? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't? Until my knee starts hurting. And then I get annoyed. Or I drink more. Neither of which are advised. Neither of which are advised, okay? Let's see. Always like 91 alphas. They were around. Medics are just mechanics working on electronics and engines. Right on. You were in 91 to 99. Hey, thanks for your service, man. Yes, sir. Thanks for your service. But yeah, in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force, and we called them Air Force Specialty Codes. So it was AFSC. But I don't know what MOS stands for. It's like a military occupation something. There, that's what it is. Military operation something. Teach us how to code. Richard, you're going to have to take that one on the sidelines, man. This is a turning channel. Oh, man. Just do ChatGPT and have ChatGPT code. Speaking of which, Mike, how is that? How is that affecting anything that you're doing? Or is it helping what you're doing? I've seen some pretty wazoo stuff. I've seen things as far as not, this isn't necessarily AI directly, but somebody was in like a banking office and he was outsourcing his work to people in India, and then the people in India, I think, were using AI, and that was the big thing about it. But yeah, how crazy is that? Oh man, funny. Oh geez, I never got promoted? Uh-oh. I got promoted a little bit. I made it to E5? E5, yeah. E5. I was on the block for E6, but that's when I separated. And I don't say that as like a boast, because it took me forever to get... Well, I never left E5, right? But, yeah. It seemed like it took a little while to get to E5, but not as long as it felt like staying E5. So... Ugh. Boom. Bum, bum, bum. It's overblown by so many people, yeah. Although I do think some of the concern is warranted, because I was watching something that was, if you've ever heard of Diary of a CEO, there's somebody that was they call him the godfather of AI, and he was talking about some of the like more malicious things that could be on the horizon when it came to AI stuff. And so I'm not talking about like the advances and good stuff that comes along with AI, because I definitely do think that there is a lot of good stuff that comes along with it. But when they're talking about things that will have face recognition, that our drones are getting stronger and stuff, and you know, it's one of those things that you're like, we just gonna look away? We're not gonna watch this happen? Or we're just gonna watch this happen, I mean? We're going by, yeah. No, I mean, I know as the promotion process for Air Force sucks. It does suck. One of my biggest problems, I would say, which, you know, probably actually sounds bad, but I was not in the military to learn about the history of the Air Force, and so that was never something I put a lot of time into, and so that was a part of why my promotions were delayed, because I just didn't know some of, like, we call it the big blue rules, but I'll say too that, you know, being on a team like I was, we didn't really interact in the professional sense, in the not the professional sense. We worked with people all the time, but like when it came to like dressing up and looking snazzy, all that stuff, that didn't happen too much where we were around other Air Force people. So the customs and courtesies, I'd say for me, were not as strong as they could be, or could have been, I guess. But it's because that's just not where we had an emphasis. Like, our job was search and rescue, so we wanted to learn as much as we could about that. We weren't thinking about giving or saluting, and now I get it. It's still the whole customs and courtesies, and I do appreciate it. You know, I was able to benefit from that as being an instructor at the schoolhouse for a while, having students come in and or you walking into a classroom with students, and then they call the room to attention, or yeah, basically call it to attention. Let's see. You have to know folks to get promoted. Yeah, I'd say that that's also true. Yeah, you got to know. But I will also say it was problematic because it's not just about knowing someone. It's a yeah. I mean we could leave it at that. It's not just about that. Because there is an element of the whole popularity contest sort of thing where you're writing performance reports, and you can't give everybody like the highest score. You can only give X amount of that per like 5 people that you have. You can only give one person, called it firewall 5, but you know, something to that effect. And so you might not get promoted until later on. And then the way that they divided that part out was also really weird. But whatever. I didn't do it to get promoted. In fact, I didn't even think of rank at all when I joined the military, because it was a job, you know. It was the job that I was doing, and you're like, okay, you want to go in, jump out of planes, and fly on helicopters, and go recover pilots? Yeah, that sounds dope. So that's what I did. And I did some of that. Where is it? I did some of that, and then I became an instructor, and then boom. Now I'm here. Let's see. By comparison, you had your 5s. Oh, like your ratings? Yeah, that's not what I was talking about necessarily. It's more like if everybody's doing something that's like wow worthy, then you have to look at it in a way that's like, how many people did you wow? Because you could do like the best work and be a quiet, you know, relatively quiet person, and you just might not get the whole peer evaluation that you want. So that's another thing that also happened, was peer reviews, which I think are awesome. You don't like to be on the receiving end, but if you're trying to improve all the time, then you probably do want to be on the receiving end, although it still isn't fun either way. Testing up, C for us, education, your MOS different. Never meshes, yeah. You want to go back to learn more. Oh, okay. You had E5 at that point. Dope. 18 months? Shoot. I was in training for 3 years. I was in E3 for 3 years. Or, yeah, pretty much. Because our tech school, our technical training was like in between, if you were able to do all the schools back to back, which is, as you know, impossible, then you'd be able to get through it all in 18 months, assuming you never had any setbacks either. But sometimes the courses don't line up, or you fail one of the training things, or one of the whether it's airborne or Halo, or if you get set back on something like that, then you'll be able to go again. What? Sorry. But yeah, and so obviously those things take time, and then that other one's got to finish itself out, and then the next one will be starting up, and then you can potentially get a slot there. But if you take that slot, then you're going to have to postpone something else. So it's one of those things that I'm talking about, where it took a long time to get through it because of the availability of some of the things, other courses available and slots and stuff. Your son is in the army, and nice. Whoa, that's awesome. Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. You know, something funny is after I got out of the military, I did a little contracting, and then I talked to an Army recruiter because I was thinking about pivoting and maybe it being pretty cool to go be an officer in the Army. But one of the things that I was going for, they're like, you got to be in for a long time before you can even apply. And it's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I wanted to go. I was thinking about SF actually, but as the medic. So I guess an 18 Delta, and then maybe working in that direction. I don't know, but life happened and things change, so the priorities change, and then you just gotta adapt and continue. So I went from that to making pins. Turning was therapy for me for quite a while, turning was therapy for quite a while, and I was out here getting my therapy sessions for like 15 to 18 hours a day for months, and I was just testing out different tools, testing out different material, trying different cuts, trying different methods to do different things, and you know, just testing limits of stuff. And yeah, and then I got to a point where I was comfortable enough to create a process that I'd be able to turn out a decent amount of things in a reasonable time. Then you price that out and you determine that, oh, that's enough. That's enough for us to live and continue. Anyway, we got to that point, and then we did the whole pivot thing, and now we do this full time. And you know, I'll say I enjoy it. I don't mind doing this at all. I love it. It gives me time to think, chat, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, streaming is also pretty cool because I just chat and I talk about what it is that I am passionate about, and you know, that kind of thing. And so that's where I get excitement from now. I get excitement after seeing 49 people up in here hanging out. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. You are awesome. But yeah, I just like to turn. Just the difference in branches in the Army. Oh man, E5 was the best. E5 for me was the best. Like E4, man, that was so much work. Like you're doing a lot of work, but well, at least we were given probably different responsibilities than that type of stuff. But yeah. Just enough pull to make things happen. Lack of accountability. I mean, you're not wrong, that's for sure. But E5 was like that for me. I was the lowest, well, one of the lowest ranking ones there at the time at the schoolhouse. So, yeah. A lot of stuff would get, you know, it get divided out. Everybody's working pretty well. I didn't think anybody was working less than others, but I don't know. I never really thought about it that way. I don't think about somebody else working harder than me. I just go in and I put my best effort in for that day. Sometimes my best effort would be mediocre. Sometimes it would be totally crap. Sometimes it would be awesome sauce. I don't know. Either way, you're still expected to perform the same things that you, well, you're supposed to do. But yeah, it was fun. Spec 4 Mafia. Spec 4 Mafia, yeah. But yeah, are you, never mind. I won't ask that. Not a good platform. Or not a good time, I guess, to ask that. Let's see. Just trying to keep you busy, so don't bug Abby. Well, Abby's inside. She feels like crap. I guess she didn't sleep very well and had a fever. A little fever this morning. But yeah. And then supposedly my mom is coming over, or she already came over or something. I don't know. But that's alright. That's alright. I'm out here getting stuff done, you know? And chatting. But it is cool. Like, every stream that I've done has been interesting in a different way pretty much every single time. It's had different people, a lot of the same people too, which is pretty awesome. Love seeing that. And then, you know, the between like the watch time and the different inputs that we get, it's pretty awesome. I enjoy it. It's on my neck. The fly is on my neck. Dang it. But I should be done with at least the other bit of turning already, but I'm not, so. Oh! Dang it. Oh! Land! Guy streams while swatting at a fly with a machine running in the background. No need for concern. Yeah. I enjoyed my military time. Rank was never something that I found to be important, at least at the time. But you know how you can look back and determine that maybe you should have thought about those types of things a little bit more, or maybe put a little more effort in certain areas. I don't know. It's not like you can easily go back in and, you know, and then just get caught right back up and promote on it, guys. But I guess my closing thought on that, I've said it in other streams as well, but if you are of a certain age, maybe in high school or college, and you're uncertain about what you want to do, then I would recommend going into the military. And if you do have plans, great. I don't think that you necessarily should go in the military. I'm talking about like a fart in the wind, man. That's where I was. So I don't know what I want to do with my life for when I get out of school. And then, you know what? I want to be a firefighter. That's actually what I wanted to be. My recruiter was a firefighter, and he was saying, you can go try out for firefighter after you try this. If it doesn't work out, it's like, that's so. Cool. And then he did it. What a nuisance that fly is being. Oh, something else. I told you we had dropped off our fountain pens to the local store, and developing. Last night she did a post on it, or a post about it, rather. So that's pretty darn cool, man. So we're actually in a brick and mortar store now with their fountain pens. Let's see. Make sure you're staying hydrated. I know it's pretty toasty. Oh, please tell me I got you. Make sure you're staying hydrated. These are looking pretty cool. These are called Mystique. It's hard to tell, but it's got a lot of interference in the blue. A lot of interference in the blue there. Oh, shoot. I also got some blanks out this morning. The blanks I got out this morning are another set that Abby has made. That'll probably go out, or probably be listed maybe this weekend. I'm not sure when, but yeah. Some tight holes. Some tight holes, man. That's what we like. These things, the bushings being a little trouble to get out of here. Let's see. You're back. Welcome back, Michael. Welcome back. Hate it when that happens. Even worse when our internet just dropped one day. And then I streamed again that day, and then the power went out again. We're like, what the heck is going on? You're like, what the heck, man? Oh yeah, the other blanks. I'll show you those right quick. These look pretty cool. They're white, blue, kind of got a jelly like a, we call it jelly if it looks like it's like clear, kind of like a Jolly Rancher, I suppose. But yeah, pretty cool. Looks like it's going to be pretty white on the bottom. That'll be where that's where the barrel will come from when I make it. So it'll probably be this part here. It's going to end up being the actual barrel for at least this pin, and then this cap, and then the section from the top. But yeah, these are pretty darn cool. How you doing, Larry, Gabriel? But yeah, if things are going swimmingly, I'll probably get to work on one of those. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. For sure, I'll be working on fountain pens in the mall row. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. I've got a lot that are prepped. A lot. And then also, if you have been to the Orlando Pin Show, you'll know that there is a Maker's Challenge that occurs. And what that means is you're doing a fundraiser for, hey, thank you for subscribing. I don't usually catch those. So you must have been special. Thank you. But yeah, thinking about, the Maker's Challenge is about raising money for a reef relief, is what it's called, reef relief. And obviously the goal is to raise as much money as you can for the specific pin. And it seems like it's going to be done a little different this year, so that'll be interesting. We're still aiming to win, so Abby's got some pretty good ideas that we'll probably execute on and see how that goes. But yeah, when somebody was talking about the magnum opus, this is, in a way, this kind of is one of the magnum opus pins that we'll work on. It'll be a combination of Abby and I working on it, though. But that won't be probably until we get back from DC when we'll begin that project. Because that one's gonna be a little time intensive, because we do play to win, we don't play to lose. But if we don't win, it's not the end of the day. The end of my pin making career. Hopefully we can make our way into the Pin World magazine again. Pretty cool. But anyway, the rules went out and we were starting to brainstorm the ideas. Because every time we make a pin, we learn more things that we didn't know previously, which, you know, in some cases means that we would approach it differently. If we were making the exact same thing again, we would go about it a little differently. So, if you want to get good at something, it's really just about repetitions and working with your hands and you know, kind of exposing yourself to different avenues. Like, I think about when it came to like the tubing and stuff, a good example was working with maybe a plumber or somebody that would have an idea how to make an eyedropper type of fountain pen, because maybe they know something in the plumbing world that you didn't know, as somebody that was not into tubes and fluid and stuff like that. So, you know, just trying to think a little bit outside the box when you're doing those types of things is really neat, because you don't really know necessarily who is going to be the trigger for your next great idea. So that's what I enjoy. I enjoy talking to different people. I enjoy hearing about what it is that they do and how they do it and that kind of stuff. And then I think about ways to be able to incorporate, apply, or do iterations of whatever it is, whether it's in the benefit of them or for you. You know, it's kind of unknown, depending on whatever it is, you know. Because you can know, I mean, even you, yeah, you, anybody, you could have a little tidbit of information that would be valuable for somebody that, you know, maybe was doing what I'm doing, and you're like, well, if you just change this part of that, then it would save you like a long time. And you know, when you think about efficiency from a hobby perspective, you don't really think about necessarily the time that you're putting into it. It's not until you start trying to make money that you start thinking about the actual time that you're putting into it to make it so it is doing what you need it to be doing. But yeah, just getting kind of lost with the time is kind of what I like to do. Just get going, chatting, learning. Hanging out with some cool peeps. Let's see. We'll probably stream that. I don't know why we wouldn't, because we want to create some. We want to create some buzz about. Hey, Larry. Want to create some buzz about that, you know. So it'll be cool. Like, I think anybody that has, you know, a huge collection of skills, it would be pretty darn cool if you were able to combine all of those skills into one thing. For example, if you were good at making clips, you incorporate a clip into what it is that you're doing, and you're also good at this and that, then you put those together. Then you just keep throwing ingredients together, and then, you know, adjusting the amount of the ingredients as you go. Maybe less wood, maybe more resin, you know, maybe less turning, maybe more casting. I don't know, stuff like that. And then you get to a point where you're like, all right, this is a good ratio of a little bit of everything that is tastefully done. Boom. Yes. All right. A little bit there. There. And there. some good color separation. If you've made blanks, you know you got to get them pretty hot in order to achieve good color separation. And then some colors behave a little differently around other colors too. So knowing how they behave. And the resin is also pretty important. So pretty interesting when you think about it like that. Like, for example, like the white pigment that Dabby uses tends to be heavier, and so that's why it typically sinks to the bottom. And so with that knowledge, what you would probably think about doing is, if I want white throughout the entirety of the blank on the rods that I'm pouring, and this is specifically rods, it's a little different when you're doing blocks, but if you're doing rods like these, you're going to probably end up pouring the white. If you want it throughout, you're going to pour the white like later on, and then it's going to end up sinking through everything. I think I got that fly, by the way. Hillbilly, how you doing, man? Hadn't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing good. Still here, cranking, turning. Got some new faces here as well, which is also pretty darn cool. Let's see. Ew. That's rough. Alright. Here we go. A little bit of sandpaper. Okay, a lot of sandpaper. I'm gonna try to fix this. Let's see, Vinny. Hey, thank you, buddy. Looking out, man. Vinny. Put it on a watch winder. Oh. You mean like a centrifuge type of thing? I don't want to use that. That'll just push it all to the bottom. Okay, I think we're good. Ew. A little bit of rust. Some of the other stuff getting removed as well. All right. The winder for a self-winding watch. I don't have a printer. If only I knew somebody that had at least 5 printers. Oh man, I do have some ideas that I was thinking about getting printed, and that's why I was looking at over the last few streams. I asked people about printers, and then like what kind of printer people had, and I heard a lot of Ender 3s, and then I was thinking about Bamboo Labs. because it's got the multiple filaments, and I like that. It'll be a lot easier to go about. You know, having a little variety of color, and also if it has multiple spools, it'll just, you know, have a little bit. It'll be there longer. Let's see. Depends on how much you want to spend. Up to 12 now. Well, I'm at kind of the point right this moment where I've got a few ideas that I think that could be really awesome. And one of which I think I need to like print it to make it happen, and then another one, yeah. But I'm also, I don't know, a little reserved, I guess, when it comes to that, because one, I don't know if it'll work. Two, if it does work, I don't know. I'll share it with everybody, right? but I just think it would be something pretty darn cool. And, you know, one of the ideas, it would be better with a resin printer, and the other idea would be better production if it was filament. So that's the other conundrum I'm in. So I just kind of need to sit down, objectively look at it, and you know, that type of stuff. Think about what would be the best avenue to pursue. All right. For your reference, this is a 6-inch blank, and it's 7/8 inch diameter. But as far as how much I was looking to spend, I was hoping that you'd just mail me one. I'm just kidding. We were looking in the ballpark of like 500. Because we don't want necessarily an entry-level one, and we want one with the least amount of setup. Because if there's a lot of resistance like that for the printer, I can already tell you that we're not going to end up using it, and that's, you know, pretty substantial waste of money. So if we can spend some time, if it only takes a little bit of time to figure out, then perfect. But if it takes like, if it's like something that will require a lot of finicky stuff, I'm not interested in that. You know what else is 6 inches, Jesus? My mouse from the keyboard. Think about this: if you're going to print molds and fill them with 2-part resin to make blanks, at the end printer will have plastic in with the resin. Okay. A good resin printer under 5, and then the next consideration is the build plate. Time out for you, Jesus. Why don't you reflect on that? Let's see. Yeah, and I mean, I'm still kind of torn whether it's going to be a filament or if it's going to be a 3D, because I think it also has to do with the place that it's going to end up being. It would be ideal if it could be like in the house where we have, it's a relatively common area in the house. So I say that because we don't want it to be like a ridiculous amount of chemicals that are in the air and stuff like that. Most people just use the provided one. Always add a flex sheet. Oh man. Well, we with our Ender 3, our build plate wasn't working anymore, so we replaced it with the glass one, and then the glass one made everything worse. So we pretty much just got rid of it at that point. Yeah, got rid of it after that. It was not working how we wanted it to, so. But, so there's that. And then, you know, the idea of being able to produce a lot of little things on one build plate sounds pretty darn cool as well, you know, because we also try to think about it from a volume perspective that requires, you know, limited. I hate glass beds. Yeah. Well, I suppose I do too. After my one experience. But when you're talking about something that costs, you know, a few $100s, you don't really want to, you know, just kind of chalk that up as a loss. That doesn't feel good. It feels bad. Yeah, it took a lot of tinkering, a lot of messing with, and we still weren't able to actually print what we wanted to, so I think that was probably user error. Is that so? Huh. It's faster. Well, I like the idea of the resin printer because of how the details come out. I think that is one of the main things I think about. If the details come out nicely, then perfect. Because that makes it a little easier for, you know, potentially part 2 if we do want to make a mold out of whatever it is that we printed. So, you know, it's one thing to create something to create another thing. You know, that's kind of how it is, really. It's like this leads to this, leads to this, and then boom, that's where we want to land. But see, on the other hand, I could just send somebody a design and then they would make it with their printer and then give it back to me so I can continue with what I was going to do. Yeah. Man, that is so cool. How that looks. Almost like if I think about flames being black and white, you know, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Just kind of the waves of orange, yellow, how fire goes, but yeah, with a resin printer, it takes the same time, huh? But I guess my concern with the resin printer is the bed size, because that'll limit. I'm thinking that might limit some of the things that I'd be able to do as if I wanted something that was bigger than the resin build plate. I would have to do it in pieces, basically. And we don't want to do it in pieces necessarily. It's best when it's all one piece. Hey, thanks, Vinny. Yeah, this is a Monarch butterfly. Oh. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Hillbilly. Yes. I like it. Man of many words. But yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about it, some of the ideas that I got for a printer. But on the other hand, I don't actually know if they'll work because I haven't tried them yet. But I think that they will. Right? You don't go into something thinking it's not going to work, do you? Oh, crap. Oh, dang, man. You love getting messages like that. So a buddy of mine just sent me a message that said, hope you're doing great, all that stuff. And then he's getting started on a business now. And now he's getting everything all organized and set up for his business. And he said he wouldn't have done it if it weren't for you, I never would have even tried. That's freaking awesome. All right, third time's the charm. Looking at what number that one is. You know, another thing that I take inspiration from when it comes to different ideas incorporated into fountain pens is actually knives. I think about knives, and you know, their little components like the little screws and little clips and stuff like that. So if you, I think about that. Think about knives. I think about rings as well. Rings are also a pretty cool thing to think about, because doing an inlay, if you've done the inlay on a ring, you'll know that, you know, it's a little time consuming. Okay, it's a lot time consuming, but if you do it on a pen, that will just elevate its status. And all you did was incorporate what you had learned from making rings, you know? Like, I incorporated that into this, so now bada bing, bada boom. So just another thought, because I had some ring stuff and I was interested in making rings. I started I started relatively small when I first started. And I didn't exactly know what I wanted to be turning. So something relatively inexpensive to find out is, you know, just get some ring kits and then get some glue. Like, don't make it necessarily super wazoo. Just determine if it's something that you want to do. Give it your best shot. And then, you know, try that a few times and see if it's something that you really enjoy doing. And if not, well, is there something else that you can incorporate to make it more enjoyable? Or is there a way that you can, like, pivot and you like different aspects of certain things? So it really is a matter of just putting different things together. But Hillbilly, are you good at designing stuff too, man? Because it's possible that maybe we could work together on something like that. But yeah, see if we can do a little trial of that and see if it works out. And if it does work out, then obviously we would have to revisit that. But readdress the I guess the implementation of the whole idea. Sound like Sam Sulek. Did somebody say that before? I don't know. I don't know if somebody had said that before. But are you talking about the way my voice sounds or what it is that I'm saying? Us overthinkers, you know, like to know which one. You don't know how good you are, but you do a lot of design work. Well, you're better than me, and that is really my target there. That's what happens, right? When you have something, you find somebody that's able to do that type of thing, or you learn how to do it. And then, because you build up relationships and bonds and stuff like that, then you can potentially be working on other elements of your business and friendships and elevating their friendship. Oh shoot, that's another thing I was thinking about yesterday a whole lot of. Man. One sec. Let me get caught up on the chat, and then I'll tell you what I was talking about or thinking about yesterday. That I guess it's not until later that you actually think about it. But the way you talk and the phrases I use, right on, frozen coffee. Are you more of a fan of hot coffee or frozen coffee? Should I just go off of what I think? Or is your name just misleading? Hello from Ohio. Well, hello from North Carolina. Good to see you here. Welcome to Maverick Workshop. I am John. I am a turner of diamond painting pens and fountain pens. My wife and I run our business together. Yes, indeed. And we have a good time. Abby makes all the blanks. I do all the turning. She does all the sanding. Yep, you had some health issues recently. Oh, shoot, man. Are you better now, Hillbilly? Or at least are you in a recovery phase of this? Because, dang, man, that's rough. Down for the count for a while. Hey, even Kool-Aid's got to get sugar put in it. Otherwise, it's just colored water. I mean, I drink my coffee black. I'm still rocking some coffee right now, even though it's oh, it's only 1:30. See, I'm rocking some black coffee. You like your coffee black, to be honest? Right on, gamer tag. What do you play? What kind of games do you play? I play World of Warcraft. What your grandpa always told you. Oh, gotcha. That's funny. Recovering, right on. Low potassium. Well, that's not good for your muscles, man. You got to have that sodium-potassium pump ratios working. Yeah, man. You got to eat a banana or something. Get that vitamin K. That is good to hear, though, man. Good to hear that you are on the upswing of this. Also, let's see. Do you know Ben? All right, never mind. Wife needs help. Right on, man. I'll see you around. Good chatting with you, buddy. I hope you continue to recover quickly and swiftly and stuff. I'll see you around. Yeah, man. See, this is what I love about streaming is you get so many different types of people that have so many different interests, and then you come to a place where you can, like, well, I mean, like here, right? Where you can just, like, do it. You start, and I mean, for me, my workshop, I just go to my workshop. If I got an idea and I think it's going to do something, I'll write it down and then revisit it. Or I'll just go out into my workshop and start working on it right that moment. Yeah. Let's see. What am I making? For those who missed it, right on. I am making diamond painting pin handles. These are craft handles that you put diamond painting tips in. And the nice thing about them is that, well, for end user, right? You think about the ergonomics. It's got a larger grip section. You know, if you think about somebody holding it the way that they're going to be diamond painting, which is like this, straight down, basically. You want it to have that. You want to be able to flip it pretty simply, not have any issues with that. But yeah, they're diamond painting pin handles. So you just take the tips out, then we'll sand and polish it over there, and then the tips get put in after it goes through a wash. But yes, these are diamond painting pins, the primary source of income for what my wife and I do here. And then I also make fountain pens. One of the sets of fountain pens that I've got on deck are these, which I will be working on hopefully tomorrow. But these are the fountain pens that I've got all set up and everything. So in the middle we got the caps here, and then we got some of the sections. So some of the sections are various stages of completion, and then these are all the barrels for the fountain pens. So this is going to be like 27 pins when I'm all done with them. So that's pretty neat. I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to take a while, but you know. That's what happens when you're working in big sets like that and you're the only person working on them. Let's see. What is a diamond painting pin? Let's see. Congratulations, I hit the 1K. I did! I still see it at 193. Did something blow up? Are we all still here? Alive? Safe? And everything? I'm just kidding. But I appreciate it. If that's the case, man, thank y'all so much. Then that means you are all witnesses to the start of the monetization aspect of Maverick Workshop. Now, something that I am unsure of, if I do monetize, what does that mean? Does that mean that ads will pop up during stream? Because that's not cool. That's not cool, man. I don't want that. We don't want that. Oh, I did. Oh, man. Thanks, Ab. That's Abby, my wife. The other part of Maverick Workshop, Maverick Pins, and Butterfly Effect Wares. But yeah, diamond painting pins, yeah, it's essentially a craft handle. You use a little tip, a little plastic tip, and then you put little resin drills onto a canvas that's sticky, and then you have your whole pattern that creates a picture. I should have one in here probably. Abby was supposed to make me the Cheshire Cat, but well, she doesn't actually have that much time to diamond paint, so. Don't let her fool you. Don't let her fool you. I'm just kidding. No, she probably she does a lot of them. All these blanks, she made them. All the sanding and polishing is hers. Except for some crazy exceptions. I'll sand rarely. I can sand. I am the tournament. So there's that. Well, once I verify everything, we'll do a cool celebratory stream, I think. That way I have a little bit of time to prepare up something. But yes, thank you all very much. How exciting. But I'm going to have to go look up who that person is, by the way, with the phrases and stuff. Let's see, Sam Stewart. I think I've heard that name before. But I don't remember for sure. But let's see. Frozen Coffee, are you a Turner, man? And if so, what type of stuff do you usually turn? So in the middle of this it can get a little chattery, a little vibe, like you saw those little chips coming off. It's because it's the thinnest spot, and because I have these two ends pushed together, and it's only the structure of the resin that's holding it together, it causes like a little bit of a bowing type of thing, like a bow, when you push on it, and then that's what makes it kind of offset, because it's always trying to go back to turning round. But if you're pushing on it with an edge, it's going to kind of change the shape of that, and not every part of the blank will get the memo that it's supposed to be that way, so that's what causes the vibrations. But yeah, you know, for the sake of like everything being awesome sauce as it comes to the viewer experience, maybe I'll try to level some of my visuals up, visual effects. But you know, it's hard to put more time into something if you don't think it's going to go anywhere, you know, or you think it's going to be a slow burner. But I've been, I would say, for the streaming aspects of what my YouTube has been so far, I've been, you know, kind of like the tortoise when it comes to the tortoise and the hare. So, a little tortoise and the hare action. I'm not in a hurry to get crazy numbers, but if they happen, that's so awesome. Okay, boom. Oh man, Vinny, you the man. Alrighty. Alright, we got what, 5 more to go? At least for these. But as I had mentioned in earlier and a couple streams ago too, trying to get ahead because we have the Washington D.C. Pin Show, Super Show, coming up, and so we're trying to carve out some time for us to focus solely on fountain pens. So we're trying to get 2 of these batches done this week, and then 2 batches next week. So it's busy. Man. But yeah, it's showing, when I look at my screen here, it still shows the one that I started with, 973. Right there. So that's what I see. And then much like the you know, the discussion I was having earlier about your market, something that I constantly have to think about as well is not just the designs of the pins and stuff like that, but also, like, if I want the YouTube to go well, I have to also make sure that, you know, y'all are getting what it is that you are interested in. So if you don't have necessarily a crazy interest in any specific one thing, just turning, perfect place here. I turn all the time. Also, if you are a blank maker, let me show you something pretty cool that you can do. If you're a blank maker and you have a little extra resin, here's something that you can do. You can put it into a cup and then put it into a pressure pot still. And then you can make a little bowl out of that. Or you can have like a mold that you pour the excess into as well. That'll go in or go under pressure. Just make sure that you are using the correct resin for what it is that you're trying to do. Hello, Jose Antonio Martins. But this is, you know, a couple examples right here of some overpours that went into a cup. You can see like the rim, the little rim of the cup that we used. But yeah, what I'm going to end up doing is, you know, mounting this in between centers, cutting a tenon on one side, and then hollowing out, well, I guess cutting a tenon on one side, hollowing out the other side, making it into a little bowl. So it's a fun little thing that you can do, and because it doesn't matter if the stuff settles on the bottom, that's just kind of going to be where your tenon is anyway, so it's going to get cut off, is what I'm saying. But yeah, if you had extra resin from something like that, just leave it in the cup or pour it all into one cup and then put that cup in there instead of tossing it. If you have space in the pot, obviously. The blanks are obviously the most important part, but because that's what you were working on in the first place. That's just an idea, right? That's just a little idea for something a little extra. But yeah, I was thinking about making a bowl, actually. Huh. Should I do that next? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see where we're at when I finish these babies. It's always when I finish these. Gotta take care of first things first. It's so hard. Oh, man. But yeah, our upcoming shows, if you haven't heard, the upcoming show is DC. It's a DC Super Show. It's in Washington, DC, biggest in the world, not just the US. It is the biggest pin show. And we're fortunate enough to be able to be a vendor there. So that is pretty darn cool, man. So if you were in the DC area, you want to come meet me and Abby in person, that's where we'll be. We'll be in DC. August 31st, I think, or July 31st to August 2nd, or something like that. So pretty stinking awesome. and we love meeting people and chatting with them. And I always, you know, I understand that I go to pin shows to try and sell pins, but man, that's just not really a good. I would say that I'm a no pressure kind of person. If you like it, fantastic. If you don't, come hang out, come chat. But on the other hand, don't be offended if somebody else is looking to buy, and then I'm like, hey, scat! I'm just kidding. Because we got bills to pay and mouths to feed, you know? But man, yeah, I love it. That's pretty much why we make fountain pens too. Like, we make them, I make them pretty casually throughout the year, and then we ramp up for the shows. But it's nice because I just kind of casually do it throughout the year, and then we build inventory that way. Yeah. So that is a way to do something, right? There's no... There's no best way. That's why one of my favorite things, one of my favorite expressions is, I'm not saying it's the way, I'm just saying it's a way. And I heard that from one of the people I used to work with, and it was pretty damn funny. If you know much about land navigation and map reading, the MGRS system, anyway, the GPS stuff, somebody was asking if we had latitude, longitude, and we're like, no, we got the MGRS, the grid reference system. And it's like, I'm not saying you need it, I'm just saying I got it. We're like, what? Because we're getting evaluated, and we're like, I don't understand if you want us to have lat long, do you want us to have latitude, longitude, or do you just want us to have MGRS? What do you need from me? I don't know. Just kind of funny the things that you hear throughout your life, and from the people that you look up to, and then you internalize it maybe even a completely different way than what they anticipated, which is, you know, also kind of a weird, funny, kind of crazy thing all at the same time. Like, here's another one. Here's another funny thing that I was gonna. It kind of ties into this, but I was talking to Abby last night, thinking that it would be a pretty fun thing to do for us to like pick a topic and then on stream like have discussions about a certain topic that we'll each know the topic, but we won't have talked to each other about it yet, as it relates to, you know, turning, pin making, you know, opinions, thoughts, all kinds of stuff like that. And I just thought it would be pretty entertaining for y'all to see how different Abby and I really are. It's like we'll hear the exact same sentence, but she's listening to the words and I'm watching the body language. So we're getting different information because of that. And so that applies to everything, by the way, for us. In some ways, opposites really do attract. And we are pretty opposite. And, you know, nothing wrong with finding people that have a lot of stuff in common. But it's also important to know that you also have differences. And that was actually one of the hardest things for me in the first place, when some of those differences began surfacing because I lived here. You know, the same was true on the other side as well, where we both had like very different thoughts about different things. And then, you know, trying to figure some of those things out and navigating the different ways to talk to people and stuff like that, then you start picking up on other traits that people have, and yeah, it's really interesting. Did anybody else, or was it just me, when I was in like high school or middle school, no, high school, shoot, I even did it in the military some, I would go to like an outdoor mall kind of place, and I would sit on the bench and just watch people go by. I would people watch, you know? Anybody else do that? A little weird, I guess, but I enjoyed people watching. But yeah, it's kind of funny because you look at different people and you're like, I wonder how you got to the way that you are now. Or I wonder why you like the things that you do. Does it have to do with how you were, where you came from, your socio-economical class, you know, all kinds of stuff. Kind of weird, but you know, everybody's got something weird about themselves, don't they? I have a pretty addictive personality in general, so I can stay on something for a ridiculously long time if it's something that I'm interested in. But yeah, anyway, kind of going along those lines, thinking about, you know, how Abby and I are, or relationships are, something that I came up, or something that I think I heard it somewhere, and then I applied it to this particular case, to where, what if everybody's right? What if everybody's right at the same time about something? Somebody's like, this is bad, and then they're like, this is good. Well, what if it's both? What if it's good and bad? I think it matters as well, the perspective. Good for what or who, and then bad for what or who. And then at what point is it bad or good? You know, thinking about it now, it's like even further, you can pursue that trail even further. Huh. I don't know. I don't know if I should say. But yeah. But yeah, what if it's possible that everybody's right and everybody's, well, if somebody's right, somebody would have to be wrong, right? Or would it be somebody's right and somebody's not as right? Or not as wrong? I don't know, man. I don't know. Pretty abstract thinking going on now. I think I need to reground myself here. Alrighty, what have we got here? We got a 35. We'll do a variation of this. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3/8 beating tool. Or no, this is a quarter. This is a 1/4 inch? Oh, I don't even have a 3/8. Oh, some pro you are, John. My bad. This is a 1/4 inch beading tool here. And it's high-speed steel. So those that don't think I use high-speed steel, there you go. There's some steel for you. But these are not fun to sharpen, so. Let's see, Bailey Woodworks, what's up? How you doing? Let me read your comment. Let's see what we got. Right and wrong or not gray? Yeah, these are right or they're wrong. Interesting. Applying situational ethics. Yeah, you know, I can see that. I can see that. And I think it all comes back to like the level. At what level is it good and or bad? So I don't think it's as clear as but then again, on the other hand, too much imagination is also grounds to get lost in the sauce, you know. But yeah, I like it. I like all kinds of different things, thoughts. It's right and wrong or not gray. If you're talking about like there being written rules for stuff, yeah, there is rules that are written about things. And then people that, you know, push those different rules to the limits, that's how you get the fine print of everything on the boxes and stuff and the warning labels, and because someone did do it that way or it happened to someone. So in some ways, yeah, I would agree that there is certainly some areas that are not so much for interpretation, but I also think that there's a lot of stuff that's still quite open. So it is kind of one of those things where it's situational, right? And then it kind of goes back to it being right and wrong at the same time. It's like, I know the rules, but free will says that I can break them, right? But on the other hand, it's like, well, if I break them, I know that there's consequences to the action. And so that's really what's keeping you from performing whatever it is. It's either the consequence or outcome, whether it's a, you know, however you perceive whatever it is. Bleh. Noodles. The thing is, there are consequences to every decision. Absolutely. Consequences to every decision. I agree. We're going to accept the consequences, or should we blame a bad decision on someone else? Well, I am of the type where I try to own my problems or decisions. which is a part of why I sometimes am slow to make decisions, because I want to make sure that I understand it as best as I can before deciding. But it can still go either way, you know? And that's where it gets a little interesting, we'll say, because everybody's got different thoughts about whatever it is. Like an example, like a simple example I would think of is a happy little accident. So if I was, you know, if I was working on something and something bad happened to the material I was using or whatever, then I would have to adapt and overcome that particular thing. But it worked out in the end, so was it necessarily a bad thing if it worked out in the end? Like I have certainly surprised myself before, where I was working on something and then because of whatever reason I had to alter the course, and then it ended up being, you know, better or worse than you thought it was going to be. So that's why context is also very important about certain things. There's a lot of layers, a lot of levels at which to explore something. And then you start subconsciously working on the next iteration of whatever it was. To be like, if I started with that in mind, I would have done this differently or that differently. But no, I don't blame people for mistakes that I made. Let's see. But yeah. I guess the closing thought I have of that really is more about being open to the possibility that something is different than what you originally thought. Man. Let's see. Bailey Woodworks. What type of stuff do you do? Oh. But yeah, it's interesting because it really could be a coin toss in some things, you know. And that's where it gets weird. Especially things that like flirt with the line of moral, ethical, and legal. Oh, okay. Here's a little business thing that we can analyze right quick. So, a company is starting. They took a lot of money from investors and stuff like that. So now they have to, you know, have a project or product that they're going to make their money off of. But in this case, in this business, everything was given for free. So everything's free as long as you provide your email, your address, and stuff like that. Now, the next thing about that is while it's free at that time, and it'll be free for like, I don't know, a year or two, that particular place or company is going to gain a pretty significant amount of traction, and they're going to get a lot of information from people that way. And then they'll take that free company and sell it, and then it will be renamed or whatever, and then now it has a cost associated with it. But it's already got your information from it. And all you're doing is basically switching over to the next one. You know? Basically taking the data and moving it over. Now, when you think about interface settings on like your phone or your computer or whatever, do you like that the computer tries to optimize what it is that you're looking for, or show you what you're most likely to be interested in? That's where it gets kind of funky, because in some ways it's like, okay, well, you know what I like, and I'm glad that you're showing me what I like. This is definitely the area of interest for me. Whereas some people are completely opposed to it being able to refine the algorithms, that is, because they build profiles and stuff on people. And then they just try to find what you would be interested in watching. It's just kind of interesting, because in some cases you like being catered to, but on the other hand you're like, at what cost is that? So this is another, I guess, a better example of good and bad. So it is good because it optimizes what you want, But it's also bad because if you were, you know, trying not to spend any money, or trying not to, or trying to avoid different ideas, or different things like that, you might not like that, or you just don't want them to have information on you like that. But it's, again, it's kind of a double-edged sword, I would say, because on one hand, it's so convenient. Like, has anybody gotten a new iPhone where all you do is you take the picture of whatever that blob is that's moving, and then it transfers all that data from one phone to the next one? Like, they're able to do that because they've got packets of information on you, you know? But it's very fascinating to me how that stuff works. Yeah, I think that's both a good and bad thing. And I haven't quite decided, you know, firmly where I stand on that. Because it's tough. On one hand, you like the convenience. On the other, you're like, no. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Something else that I was going to mention. I was talking about it, and then I forgot to say it. But what I was thinking about is that has everybody heard the expression, you're the average of the people that you are around, or that you hang around? Has anybody heard that before? If so, would you say that your top 3 to 5 friends are aimed in the direction that you are trying to go? Or are they supportive of the direction that you're trying to go? Whatever. But what I was thinking about that is you're the average of the people that you surround yourself with. And the goal for me in this case would be to elevate the people around me as best as I can. I'm not saying it's going to be like, I'm going to raise you to the skies kind of thing, but you just want to elevate the people around you to improve, and just improve the general climate of the people that you like to hang around, the people that you like to be with. And you know, I kind of had that realization at the back of my mind for a while, but you know, I actually had an experience with it yesterday where I didn't exactly handle something the way that I should have. But I thought about it and then revisited it. But yeah, you wanna elevate the people around you, especially if you have picked a certain spot. So in this case for me, it would be turning, and if I can elevate other turners, then that would be even better. Inspiring new ones. This is the original shape that we were doing. We were only doing this shape before when we first started. 5 years ago. Almost 6 now. But yeah. Original shape. Okay. Well, I mean, we've made good progress today. Man, I need to go do some logistics, some administrative stuff. Because I am done with this week's pins, although I've got the other ones to go. Whoop. These are the other ones that I've got to do, and those are called the Mystic or Mystic blank. But yeah, that's what's going to be happening probably tomorrow. The other thing that I have been working on, you may have seen them already, but these fountain pins here, these will all be getting worked on. All the caps are drilled, and all the barrels need to be drilled. Same with the sections. So if you are a fountain pen maker or interested in that part of my streaming stuff, then tomorrow or Friday will most likely be that day. So yes, let me go ahead and turn off Morty, my dust collector. All Alrighty, let's bring this cam over here for just a moment while we do our little outro here. Whoop. There's my little air conditioner right there. Alrighty, here we go. Alright. So, yeah, we had a good productive day in the shop. And then more to go tomorrow. So that's pretty exciting. So yeah, if you enjoyed hanging out, enjoy the type of people that I like to hang out with, then drop a like and sub. Supposedly, I just hit my milestones of the 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for that. That is very exciting, and I need to go look at what that actually means because I haven't looked at it yet. I wasn't gonna look at it until it actually happened. So sometimes I like to do a little prep work in advance, but not in this particular case. But now I got to go do a little bit of learning on that front. So I appreciate everybody being here, hanging out, and I hope to see you next time, which will be tomorrow around noon. And it is 2:30 right now Eastern time, so noon Eastern will be the general target, but it can range between 10 and probably 2. So I'll refine that as time continues, but and as streaming gets more steady. So I think that's everything. So yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, and tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. I'll see you then. Take care.